Kelly adored her father. She loved her mother, but she had always somehow been Daddy's little girl. Everyone else called Kelly's dad Mr. Corrigan, but Kelly got to call him Greenie. Her love for all things sports and the fact that she was a very good athlete only enhanced the bond between Kelly and her dad, Greenie. At first, Greenie was her coach, and then he was there at all of her lacrosse games, and then they would watch those games together on television, and then, after they moved apart from each other, they would call each other after those games and talk them through. If parents can have different kinds of love for each of their children, unique loves, maybe kids can have a unique kind of love for each of their parents. Make no mistake, Kelly loved her dad. Kelly loved Greenie, which might make you think that when Kelly took a job in Baltimore, working for the United Way, working to change the world and make it a better place, and working only a few short miles from where Greenie's ancient, beloved mother lived, in a tiny little apartment. You might think that Kelly, out of deference to her beloved Greenie, would make it a point to go and to visit her grandmother, her beloved father's mother, Cleta. There's her name. The proud matriarch of the family, now reduced in a way to living in a small apartment in northwest Baltimore. And Kelly, she meant to do just that, to visit. She had every intention, but we all know how hard it can be to make time for such things, visits. Especially when our work has given us our marching orders to change the world, and our personal life gets busy trying to find companionship in a place, and there is drama, and sometimes there might end up being kids. It's hard, right? It's hard to make time for such things. Visiting our 85-year-old grandmother isn't always easy to do, even if she lives only a few short miles from where you work. Now, let's be fair, Kelly did go and visit Greenie's mom once. Kelly did visit her grandmother, who once was able to set the table for all 12 cousins at the same time. She had an afternoon off one day and some family leave that she needed to use or lose. I know, she said, I'll go visit Cleta. So she signed out of work early. She got into her car to make the 12-minute drive to her grandmother's little apartment. Kelly was a little embarrassed when she found herself thinking, almost before she put the car in drive, now, how am I going to make sure Greenie knows that I made the visit? An Instagram post, maybe. Hanging hard with Granny C. Hashtag wisdom. Hashtag 86 plus awesome. All that would have worked really well, except that it was 1992. And there were no easy ways to document everything we do. Our kindly deeds, our good hair days, our deep thoughts, our brushes with greatness. She'd have to think of some other way to let him know. Kelly arrived at her granny's apartment. She got buzzed in, walked down the narrow hall that was kind of dimly lit, a little too warm, knocked. Granny? She heard a small voice, let herself in. The room, it smelled like a mixture of sausage and old pillows. There was a game of solitaire suspended on a TV tray beside the chair. A magnifying glass lay on top of the word search puzzle book on the dining room table because you know the dining room is where the best light is. Kelly took her seat on the hassock across from her granny and grabbed her hand and started telling her about her life. She told her about how her one-year anniversary with the United Way was coming up pretty soon, and she was due for a promotion. Things were going well. She told her about the new point system at Weight Watchers and about the outfits that she was now able to wear. Look at this, Granny. I could have never worn this 2 months ago. Cleta nodded and smiled at all the news that Kelly had to tell, but mostly at the face that was across from hers. Oh, so blessed. And then Cleta began to tell her own stories. She had 3 or 4 really good ones, and she repeated them a couple of times. Do you remember that time when, oh my goodness, your father got so mad at you? After half an hour or so, Kelly bent down to give her granny a kiss and left. So happy, so filled. I'll be back, she said, as she closed the door. She would have called Greenie as soon as she got back in the car, but remember this was 1992. She would have called him as soon as she got home, but she had an 800 line at work. So she called him the next day to avoid the long distance charge. Anybody remember those? Hey Greenie, I visited Granny. She was so happy, which made him so happy. Oh, Kelly, thank you. I know that visit meant the world to her. His praise was music to her ears. And Kelly promised she would go back for another visit very soon. You know, it's hard. It's genuinely hard to fit these kind of things in. Months passed, and then a year. Kelly would often think about making that visit. She'd even write it in her personal journal, planning to visit Granny this week, Wednesday or Thursday. But it just never happened. And then it was over. Greenie called one morning and said, Lovey, I just got off the phone with your Aunt Peggy. Your grandmother died this morning. Oh, Dad, no. And that was when it happened. Kelly's beloved Greenie just blurted it out. Lovey, you should have gone to visit her more. She loved your visits. And he was right. Kelly had very good reasons for all the things she did and that she didn't do, but he was right and she knew it. 2 years, she'd only actually gone to visit once. There was wisdom sitting in an overstuffed rocker, her toes of her slippers barely touching the floor as she rocked, hoping for a visitor to arrive between her cat naps. There was Kelly's beloved Greenie's mother. Wisdom, only 6 miles away, only 10 minutes, waiting for her to come by and pay her a call. And that's the way with wisdom, isn't it? Wisdom isn't aggressive like knowledge is. Wisdom isn't passionate like love is. Wisdom isn't really flashy like the intellect is. Wisdom loves it when we come and visit her. And there's just something about wisdom, isn't it, that knows to sit still and wait for visitors to come. Ah, wisdom. Early this week, I got a message from Mark, not unlike the messages I often get from Mark midweek. What text will you be preaching on this Sunday? It's time to pick the music and the liturgy. Now, sometimes I want to assure you, our Sunday morning plans are made months in advance through detailed staff meetings. Other times, it's Wednesday, or even Thursday. So I gave the lectionary texts a quick glance and saw that the text for today was Proverbs 8, the one that Doug read for us. And it had one of those handy-dandy subtitles on the top of it. The subtitle said, The Gifts of Wisdom. I said to myself, the gifts of wisdom. I said to myself, perfect text for Father's Day. And fired a message back to Mark. Proverbs 8 it is. And then I actually read the text. and was reminded of something that I knew and should have remembered from all the way back in my seminary days. In Hebrew literature, wisdom is a woman. The Hebrew word for wisdom, and I'm going to mess this up, is chokmah, probably with much better pronunciation than I apologize, is a grammatically feminine noun, not unlike its Greek counterpart, a little easier to pronounce, Sophia, wisdom. These are feminine nouns used to describe the divine. This is God, she. You see, the faith traditions that surrounded and gave birth to ancient Judaism were ancient Mediterranean faith traditions that had a male Godhead and a female Godhead at the top of a Godhead family. And one of Judaism's revolutions was to affirm that there's only one God. And that was a good thing, but as time went on and language went on, that God became more and more male. And so it was something of an effort, perhaps, to recapture the feminine side of God that gave rise to the wisdom literature in the Hebrew Scriptures, or what we call the Old Testament, and especially to that book of Proverbs, a collection of Proverbs. So, there you have it on Father's Day, Proverbs 8, wisdom as a woman, the female expression of who God is. Proverbs 8 says this: the Lord created me at the very beginning. Before the beginning of the earth, I was set up. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him like a master worker. Who is the I? It's a girl. Woman wisdom. Woman wisdom has been there from even before the world was created. And we know this is what the Hebrew people believed from analyzing the language and from all the scholars that do the hard work and the heavy lifting. But we also know it because it's always been true in ancient Hebrew culture, or in little apartments in northwest Baltimore. Women are the ones who are so much more likely to grow old. Women are the ones who can seem to have been around forever, the pillars of our lives. Women are the ones who have borne the pain of the world. Women are the ones who know a truth deeper than most men ever grow old and wise enough to understand. With some exceptions, I'll grant, women, among many other things, are the repository of the world's wisdom. Sometimes in Proverbs, wisdom is pictured as a beautiful woman, attractive. Sometimes she's pictured as a capable woman, hard-working woman. Sometimes she's pictured as an older woman, like Cleda. Sometimes she's pictured as a younger woman. But however the woman who is wisdom was pictured, she was there first. She was at the very beginning and has been there ever since. Which is to say that she's been around forever. She's always there. Wisdom is waiting for us to come and visit. And so wisdom still is, waiting for us in small homes, at bus stops, in nursing homes, on front porches, on stoops. Wisdom is waiting for us. And so straight from the book of Proverbs comes this wish. Happy Father's Day! On this Father's Day, may we all have the good sense to know that the spirit of wisdom rests in a woman's heart. Wisdom is out there waiting for us. We know where she is, don't we? We can all picture where she is right now. Wisdom is out there waiting. And all of us, fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, all of us will be so much the wiser after we pay her a call. Our next statement is a hymn.
Amen.